Here we are on the screen. Yeah, I'm here today for stepping in for Olaf from Screenforce. He did not made it to London. Guess of what? There was a very surprising thing happening in Munich in December. It was snowing, and the airport is closed down. Yeah, so I'm taking this opportunity to say some words, introducing the study, and then hand over to my client, to my colleague Gareth, to explain the study. Maybe some words to Screenforce. Screenforce is a collaboration of TV channels in the DACH region. I would say very similar to what you have here with Thinkbox. And we, I2, we are well known for media research in this area, and therefore work together with Screenforce for a very long time. Together we're here to present the already awarded study, Mapping the Impact. A very interesting study about how do context influence ad effectiveness within the TV world, and how do different spots work within this situation. We have a longer history with this. So Screenforce started this kind of research in 2020 together with Karen Nelson-Field, some of you may know, and they proved TV is better than other channels, more effectively, and not only for brand awareness, but all along the funnel. And then the next year, we stepped in and tried to engage, to understand why is this. There was a study on why did TV ads work better in different scenarios, and we found out a very important thing here is context and emotions. And that's why we stepped into this like moods. We tried to find out what kind of different moods and context situations are there when people watch TV, when people consume video. And we found out 10 different moods that were very relevant for people when watching TV. And this year we went back into the living rooms, did a big in-home ethnography study to find out what this, how this worked and how these different scenarios influenced ad effectiveness, and which kind of spots worked in these scenarios and which characteristics. And with this, I would like to hand over to my colleague Gareth to explain this.
Thanks, Stefan. As Stefan mentioned, in the research we did mapping the moods in 2022, we identified 10 different moods that are generally seen when watching videos at home. From this, we actually whittled this down to 4 different moods or day segments that were more easily usable by planners, and I'll just talk you through them quickly in a second. So we identified the busy day period, what you might identify as daytime TV, which was between about 2 and 6 p.m. People tend to be at home, maybe doing some homework, housework, they may be doing some emails, they're a little bit distracted, they tend to be on their own. And then we identified this period that we call the work is done, which is maybe access prime between 6 and 8 p.m. People tend to be looking to kick back, to relax. They often watch in pairs. They tend to be in a quite positive mood after they finish work. They could still be a bit distracted. There could still be some emails coming in, social media, still some housework to do, or some looking after the kids. And then we identified this period called quality time, which tends to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sundays, between about 8 and 10, primetime TV. People watch together often. They want to watch something that they're really been looking forward to. And then we also identified this period afterwards when the moods tend to be kind of what we call dreaming away. People are looking to relax, drift off, have something that entertains them but also doesn't engage them too much so that they can't go to sleep afterwards. So let me quickly explain the research we did. In all the research I2 does, we always try and understand the human in their natural environment. And in this research, it was no different. We did the research in home. We sent the kits to people so they could take part. We had over 250 households across Germany involved in the research. And participants were simply asked to just watch TV at the certain periods of the day I just identified before. And during those periods, we showed them some content that they wanted to watch that was relevant for the time period, and then also showed them some ads. In this instance here, this couple could be watching TV at home, 8 o'clock. They watched some content that they wanted to watch, a film or an episode or whatever. And then they see 8 TV ads selected from a block of 64, and I'll explain a bit more about the ads that we used here. Then they see some more content, and then they took a survey about the ads they've seen. So each of the participants took part in all parts of the day. And I'll just quickly explain the TV ads we used and why we used them. So we wanted to make sure that we had the 24 characteristics that we previously identified as important to ad effectiveness mapped out across the different creatives we used. So, for example, some of these characteristics could be technical objectives, some could be more subjective, such as like whether the ad had humor in it, and some could be more just about the creative approaches. So was there a lead protagonist, a storyteller involved? Was the protagonist an expert? We wanted to make sure that there was many, many different examples of ads that represent each of these different characteristics. So 64 ads in total, 24 characteristics, and this will be quite interesting and useful later on if you understand this, because we can explain the tool that we developed from the data that we collected in the research. So let me quickly explain the thing from the participants' point of view. So they basically received the stuff in the mail, they picked it up, they unpacked it, they looked at the quick, simple instructions, they plugged everything in, and then they simply placed a camera in front of the TV screen that they were going to watch the content on. And then they put on their fingers this here, which is called a galvanic skin response device. It simply measures the conductivity of the skin. And the more conductive your skin is, the more cognitive loads going on, the more engaged you are with what's in view in front of you. So let me explain quickly some results that went across all the scenarios we did, because it's quite interesting and it'll help you understand some of the different, why some of the characteristics are important at different times. So we found that from the things that we put on the people's fingers, the galvanic skin response, during the busy day, people are actually more engaged at that point in the day. That doesn't mean that they're always engaged with what's on the screen in front of them, but they've definitely got more cognitive workload at that time of day. And then this peters off when the work is done and they're looking to relax. And then during quality time, when the viewer tends to be engaged with the story, they actually also have an increased peak in engagement at that point. And then as they're dreaming away and looking to relax, they actually have a decrease in engagement with what's on the screen. And then when we look at visual attention and how it changes during the day, when they're busy day, in the afternoon, viewers' visual attention isn't always directed towards the TV screen, but as the evening goes on towards quality time and then peaking at when they're dreaming away after 10 o'clock, we're actually seeing quite a lot of the time the viewer is actually looking at the screen in front of them. And this maps quite interestingly to the recall. So during the busy day, when people have got other things to look at, recall is 65%, which is pretty amazing for the ads that we showed. And then as the day goes on, this increases, peaks off at about quality time, about 8 to 10 p.m., and then doesn't get any higher in the dreaming away period because the viewer tends to be less thoughtful of what's going on, so has less cognition available to remember the ads that are shown. And what's interesting we found is that there's actually a greater acceptance of advertising during the busy day and decreases during the day. So, for example, during quality time, there's less acceptance of the interruption caused by ads and even less acceptance during the dreaming away period. So let me jump into which ad features work particularly well in which usage situation and which moods the people were in. During the busy day, because the viewer tends to be in a very realistic, cognitive part of their life, they're definitely in the moment right now, designing ads that are also true to life and realistic tends to work well. So creatives that are close to reality work better. We saw a really big impact when you use experts and product explanations at this time of day compared to when you show the same ads at a different time of day. So it works really well if you have an expert at that point in the daytime. Generally, strong brand integration works well. The viewer could be distracted. It's a good idea to have a good logo and a branded soundtrack at this point. When work is done, the viewer tends to want to be kept in this positive mood. So trying to make sure that the advertising maintains the positive mood, uses humor is a good idea. One thing we found that was quite interesting is when you use a well-known song at this point of the day, there's a greater recall of ads or greater ad effectiveness than when those same ads are shown at different points in the day. So it definitely can work well to use songs and things that people recognize at that moment. When it comes to quality time, I don't think this is rocket science. This is the time when you can tell a story. People are looking to be entertained. Ads that have that storytelling, movie kind of atmosphere work better at this point in time. People can follow a main protagonist, and they definitely like the idea of following along a journey with the protagonist in a creative. We definitely found it's not a good idea to make sure that the ads pull people back towards reality too much. Fiction works better at this point than trying to put in a balanced argument. And then we also saw when people are dreaming away, they maybe don't have as much cognition to offer. They're maybe not as engaged. But you can, at that point in time, do some interesting things, be a little bit arty, a bit more fantastical with the creative you use. If you do have to present information, try to use something like a seal of approval, so that when the viewer is evaluating what they're seeing, they can simply go, someone else has given this approval, I don't need to worry about it too much, and move on. We would definitely say it's not the time of day when people are dreaming away to involve the brand too intrusively. Don't involve too strong in jingles, don't force things on people. And be careful with stories that are a bit too emotional, because you want people to relax and not get too involved in things. Or they don't want to get too involved in things. So just in summary, strong brands work well with strong branding during the busy day. When the work is done, people are in a really good mood. Try and make sure all the creatives you use map to this and keep them in this positive mood. When it comes to quality time, this is the time for big stories. This is not rocket science. And when people are kind of dreaming away and looking to relax and kick back, this is the time when less is more. Don't push things on people too much. It's better to be quiet and potentially tell a fantastical or a more out there kind of story. So from this research, I think it's the most interesting thing about what we did actually, is we've created, along with Screenforce, we've created an online matching tool, which if you answer 15 different questions about the creative that you want to show, the ad that you want to show, you can actually work out which parts of the day segment it will work better in, which kind of time of day you'll get more bang for your buck. So hopefully you can see that playing. You simply answer very easy questions about the ad that you have, or the ad that you're planning on designing, and work out where it might have more awareness, where it might have more impact on brand image, and where you may be better off spending your money. So this is available right now on the Screenforce website. I'll show a link at the end of it. So if you want to go and try it out, you've got an ad in mind, you can have a look at it and see where it fits. So, key takeaways. I think we've all seen, and the research we've done over the last few years has definitely proven that TV advertising has a strong effect. It's a given. The usage scenario that the audience is in has a big impact on the ad effectiveness. So trying to consider this when you're thinking about where and what ad to use and when. And you can get an even higher effect from your TV ad if you take into account which usage scenario that the user is in at this point in time. And there, if anybody is interested, there's a link to try this out on the Screenforce website. Thank you.
I think we've actually got a couple of minutes left in this session, so did anyone have any questions at all? I think you have stunned them into silence. Oh, is there one?
Oh, there's a question.
Sorry.
Hello.
Yeah, sure. We would love to, right?
The question was, just in case anyone didn't hear, was would you repeat this? Go on, sorry, go for it.
So would you repeat this experiment in a different location to compare the results of the experiment?
Yeah. So, I mean, this was not only Germany, but the DACH region. So we also went to Austria and Switzerland. But we'd love to, as a company, for sure. But I think Screenforce is only concentrated on the DACH region. So, but we know there are many other, let's say, collaborations that are interested in this kind of topics. And we know that from the media scene, there are a lot of people interested because that's exactly what they're looking for. Okay, how can I optimize my value if I spend money on TV? Yeah.
Perfect. One more.
Can you say something about how the conductivity of the skin is a predictor for effectiveness?
There's a mic on its way down to you.
Do you want to answer?
Can you say something about how the conductivity of the skin is a predictor for effectiveness? How does that work technically?
So basically what you measure is like an engagement or activation level, right? So, and what we know from, what's well known from a lot of research is the higher you get people or audience engaged into something, the more likely they will recall things like the spot or the brand or stuff. So it's like a basic measurement for ad effectiveness.
Perfect. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Round of applause again.